internet in what, 3 sentences?
How many did I
So that was like 3 paragraphs.
So hi, I'm Ken Singh, and this is Impossible Questions, a set of questions that I'm going to try to answer to the best of my abilities. So the first one is, would you rather ride an elephant or a giraffe to work? Okay, I would rather ride a giraffe. I would rather own a giraffe because I live in a place that has very tall trees and snow. So the giraffe would have no problem eating because they're very tall for the tall trees. Whereas the elephant, on the other hand, they're kind of large. I wouldn't have any space for them. And because it's a lot of snow, I feel they would slip around a lot and they wouldn't be very practical. So definitely the giraffe. Do you open with rock, paper, or scissors? Explain your strategy. Okay, I always open with rock. And my strategy is, by the way, don't tell anybody this. You keep doing rock and you keep continually doing rock because other people will change. Eventually you'll get their pattern and you'll be able to change your pattern to win. It works 100% of the time. Can your mind really be out of control or can it be controlled? So can your mind be out of control? Absolutely. Can it be controlled? Absolutely. And this is the beauty of what the teachings of Sri Guru Granth tells us. It says if we come into Sangat and we listen to the teachings of the Guru and we apply them in our lives, then yes, our minds can be controlled. And not only that, we can find the happiness inside us in order to be happy on the inside and the outside. Name 5 uses for a stapler other than for stapling. Okay, so you can use a stapler to hammer a nail. I've done that. You could use a stapler to break a window in an emergency. I haven't done that. You could use a stapler in a game of toss, right? Might not be so good for the other person. You could use a stapler as a paperweight. And I guess if you had a nice stapler, you could kind of use it as like a decorative piece of furniture. Is there a question you would love to ask your pet? Well, I actually have a cat. And the question I would love to ask my cat is, why is it that when I tell you to do something, you don't do it? Like, do you not understand English? Am I not being clear? I don't get it. Why don't you do what I tell you to do? What does it mean to serve others and humanity selflessly? So to serve others and humanity firstly means to follow the example of our gurus, which is given to us in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And if we follow their example, we'll remember and learn that they gave everything for Sangha, they gave everything for Waheguru with no benefit for themselves. So that's the best way to serve, is to just follow that example and give ourselves totally without any regard for reward, and always to remember as well that it's actually Waheguru that does the seva, not us. He's just using our hands and feet to do it. Explain the internet to an 8-year-old in 3 sentences. Okay, so the internet is like a really, really big library, a really big one. It's so big that if you walked up to it, you can't even see it all. And inside that library, like any library, there's things that you can have fun with, and there's things that you can learn. But like going to a library, the internet, you got to remember, it also has rules, and it's very important to follow those rules so that we use it appropriately and nobody gets hurt. How do you love like a child loves? So children are totally dependent on their parents, and therefore they're carefree. So in order for us to love like a child, we have to be dependent on our parent, Waheguru, and be carefree. And then we'll learn to love like a child. Name 3 things that can help bring peace inside. So there's satsangat, there's coming in satsangat and listening to the teachings, that's 2. And there's applying those teachings in our lives, which is doing Simran. That will give us peace on the inside. Explain the mind in 5 words or less. So, man, tun, jot, surup, hai. So, the last question is think of an impossible question. So, we know from the teachings of our Guru that there are no impossible questions. Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji answers every question that we might have about absolutely everything. And the way we get to those answers is, first of all, we need to come to Satsangat, we need to listen to the teachings, and we need to apply them. And what Guruji tells us is that in order to get those questions answered, in order to have that peace and happiness, we must do the practical. And all of that is then achievable through Shabad. And how do we get to the Shabad? By doing Simran. But we have to earn it. It's like Josune kamave so utare pa. So no questions are impossible to Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So that's it. That's a wrap up. Impossible questions from Ken Singh. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.